As our world changes, we'll keep you up to date. News Talk KVNU 102 FM 610 AM. Also on the new KVNU mobile app.
KVNU News Time is 5:05. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by the Duck Hunter. Utah State University's Aviation Technology program is hosting an aviation career conference this week, including a 1 p.m. event on Thursday in the Taggart Student Center, when Horizon Airlines will announce a partnership with USU, the school agreeing to provide pilots for the airline. Horizon is a subsidiary of Alaska Airlines. USU flight students will be awarded $12,500 stipends to help them through the school's fixed-wing pilot program. Mike Logan, marketing director for the Aviation Technology program, said representatives of Horizon Airlines will be on hand to explain details of the partnership.
That stipend can actually be used while the student is still attending Utah State University, which is phenomenal, and that will help them out with fuel for their aircraft and other needs, supplies, your headsets, you name it, anything that pilots would need as part of their training.
Logan said it could be a process of several days before recipients of the stipends will be announced.
That actually is not known at the moment. It will depend on the student and also Horizon and any agreements that they sign. It could be as soon as Thursday afternoon if students actually sign on with Horizon, or it could be coming down in a week or two.
USU Aviation Week includes a banquet tonight and concludes Friday with an open house at the Logan Airport from 1 to 4 p.m., an opportunity to meet instructors and students and visit the program's facilities. USU Aviation Technology graduates about 100 students a year. Enrollment includes close to 380 fixed-wing students, about 20 in the helicopter program, and 100 training in aircraft maintenance, in addition to those training in the operation of unmanned aerial systems, or drones. KVNU News Time is 5:07. KVNU weather tonight, mostly clear, low in the mid-20s, sunny, warmer, upper 50s tomorrow, and then upper 60s on Friday. It's been to 49 this afternoon. It's 47 right now at KVNU. KVNU weather brought to you by Northern Steel Building. Steel is stronger, more flexible, and more dependable than wood, masonry, and concrete. Plus, steel is often less expensive. See their work online at northernsteelbuilding.com.
John at the Duck Hunter asks, have you ever checked the dryer vent cover on the outside of your home? It could be broken, full of lint, or worse yet, you could have an unwanted guest living in it. John suggests you check your dryer vent today. And if you can't, call John at the Duck Hunter. He'll do a visual inspection, and if needed, run a camera through the dryer vent line to see what's going on in there. For a free consultation, call the Duck Hunter, 770-4813.
We are the Duck Hunter. Breathe better, save money, protect your home. We are the Duck Hunter.
KVNU News Time is 5:08. A Utah County man was arrested Tuesday after police say they found child pornography on his cell phone. According to court documents, an acquaintance of 54-year-old Kevin Sykes of Springville was helping Sykes with his phone when he saw an image of child pornography open in Sykes' internet browser. The witness reported this to police, who contacted Sykes and interviewed him. Fox 13 reports that after being told about the child pornography tip, Sykes claimed the images were 3D art and did not portray anyone being victimized. He did admit that the images were graphic and depicted young boys. He said he did not have any interest in pornography containing real children. Sykes consented to a search of his phone. During the search, investigators say they found several images of computer-animated pornography. Police say they also found real, non-animated images of child pornography on his phone, with both male and female victims estimated to be 8 to 16 years old. A detective with the Utah County Sheriff's Office Special Victims Unit met with Sykes on Tuesday and informed him of what they found. Sykes claimed he did not know how the images got onto his phone, but later said he sometimes saves images for the thrill of the catch, as he put it, without going back to look at them. Sykes was booked on 4 second-degree felony counts of sexual exploitation of a minor. Sykes told police he was a youth advisor in his local church working with boys who are 11 to 14 years old. He said he has never been alone with any of the boys, nor has he had any sexual attraction or sexual contact with any of them. And Wyoming Governor Mark Gordon is seeking re-election. Gordon, a Republican, made the announcement Monday. Gordon's first term included managing the COVID-19 pandemic and a loss of state revenue due to a decline in oil and gas production that led to deep budget cuts. He angered many Wyoming residents with a statewide mask mandate during a COVID-19 spike that started in December 2020. He lifted the mandate 4 months later and promised not to implement another one. He also did not mandate vaccines, although he encouraged both masks and vaccines. The primary election is in August. The Democrats have not yet announced a candidate. KVNU News Time is 5:11. For more details on these and other stories, visit CashValleyDaily.com.
Stay informed. Stay connected. News Talk KVNU, 610 AM, 102.1 FM, and online at 610kvnu.com.
I don't know how else to say this, Dad, but here it goes. It's time for the famous West Motor Rodeo Day sale.
Wait a minute. What are you talking about, Taylor? Rodeo Days doesn't start until July.
New truck lots across the country are almost empty, right?
You're right.
But here at West Motor, business is booming. So how is West Motor selling so many trucks?
Most of our customers are ordering their truck exactly how they want it. So as soon as the truck hits the lot, they don't let us keep it there for everyone else to look at. They want to take it home. So the best way to buy a new truck during the famous West Motor Rodeo Day sale is to order it right now during Truck Month.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Plus, trade-in values are at an all-time high. And in many cases, you can buy a brand new truck for less than a used one. We'll include our famous Rodeo Days discounts, a free lifetime warranty, and a free bed liner. Taylor, you're brilliant.
Call, click, or visit West Motor and order your new Ford or Ram truck today. WestMotorCompany.com.
This is President Noel Cockett with Utah State University. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and we are partnering with CAPSA to raise awareness about the importance of responding to survivors with belief and compassion. USU is committed to Start by Believing and reducing barriers to reporting. Learn more about how to support survivors at startbybelieving.usu.edu.
Sitting in the morning sun, I'll be sitting.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People, Hour 2 of today's show. Kicking things off here with a very special guest to give us a little teaser of sorts of one of my absolute favorite events that happens here in Cache Valley every year. It is known as Research Week, and it is basically an opportunity for Utah State University to strut a little bit. A series of events scheduled throughout next week, starting Monday, April 11th, that will highlight research, accomplishments of Utah State University's students and faculty, and really give the public a chance to get to know some of the research that has been, is being, and will be done right here in our own backyard up on campus there. It's an amazing thing, and they highlight this work through events such as a research symposium and also exhibitions, awards ceremonies, and it's really an opportunity to see some unbelievably amazing stuff that happens at Utah State University while the rest of us are going on about our lives in work days here in Cache Valley. Joining us right now to talk about the events planned for next week's Research Week at Utah State University, we have with us from the Office of Research at Utah State University, Daniel Lenhart. And Daniel, appreciate taking some time for KVNU today. You are, so as a program assistant there at Utah State University, you're involved, intimately in research in general as it plays out. But this event, this is a year in the planning each and every year. First question I have, how do you decide what to spotlight?
Oh, that is a difficult question. Every year there's a lot of research going on And each year we have a number of events, as you talked about, and each event sort of highlights different things. And how we choose to highlight the different parts of each event.
It's got to be fun to say, this is what the research team is up to, because it's surely not difficult to find something amazing to spotlight, right?
No, it's incredible. For instance, the faculty author exhibition, like every year we highlight what our faculty has written books about this year.
Oh, wow.
And every year we get interesting new topics. So every year our faculty writes books about new things. So we're able to see brand new topics every single year because new faculty is writing new books. And sometimes we see the same faculty writing books and we see repeat topics, but every year we're seeing new topics researched and new interesting topics and concepts talked about.
This is so. As a program coordinator with research communication, there, of course, translating this to public consumption can be a challenge of sorts. But it's important to do, right? It's important that the general public, that students who maybe aren't directly in courses of research, get a chance to be exposed to this. In fact, we've seen this even pop up during legislative sessions here where USU Research has informed a debate or a bill. That's what you're in the business of, right? Getting the word out.
Yeah, that's really what we're trying to do is here we believe just research is important, not just within the university sphere, but within the public sphere as well. Like research helps impact daily decisions. It is research that helps us decide how to manage our water, how to manage our air, everything. Everything we do is impacted by research and should be impacted by research. And it is the wonderful researchers here at Utah State, both our student researchers as well as our faculty researchers, that are helping push that work forward.
Research Week kicks off again next week on Monday, April 11th, and runs until Friday, April 15th. Most of the events, as I understand it, Daniel, are taking place or on display there at the Merrill Kazir Library. But for someone out there listening right now, not a student, general member of the public, what can they expect? What can they get up there for and expect to see?
So we have one event each day of the week. We have the the faculty author exhibition on Monday, where you can come learn about all the different books that our faculty members have written over the past year. Or you can come to the Student Research Symposium on Tuesday and Wednesday, where you can see the research that our undergraduate and graduate researchers are doing. Or you can come to the Dewin Thorne lecture on Thursday, where we highlight our Dewin Thorne Career Research Award winner of the past year. And they give a fantastic talk, not only about their research, but their life and what's led them to research. And it is always a fantastic lecture, and the topics are always incredibly interesting, and they're wonderful people.
That is very cool. Again, a full week of celebrating and spotlighting research being done at Utah State University. Speaking from past years, I've been able to be a part of the events. Daniel, for listeners out there, it is honestly jaw-dropping to see some of the things being done at Utah State University, from things happening in physics labs to things happening with child and family research. The USU research team is cutting edge, to say the least, and here's your chance to be exposed to it a bit. Starting Monday and running until Friday next week, USU's Research Week with various events, as Daniel has described. And Daniel, I have to imagine during the Student Research Symposium that there are going to be a lot of topics covered, right?
Yes, every discipline you could possibly think of, from engineering to arts. It is every possible concept and area of research you could think of. There is something for everybody. It doesn't matter how old or young you are, there is something that you will find interesting during that Student Research Symposium.
Very cool stuff. Again, one of my favorite events of the year. If you've never had an opportunity to be a part of this, take a day at least next week and go up be a part of Research Week at Utah State University. See the exhibits, attend the symposium, watch for the awards ceremony, faculty and student recognition left and right throughout the week, and really get an idea of what it is that's happening at Utah State University, what puts USU at the forefront of so many discussions, from our water policy at the legislative level to even understanding what makes life in Utah what it is, to the stars, literally. All of that being researched at Utah State University. Daniel, as a parting question for you today, do you personally have a favorite? Is there a story from USU's research, your experience there as a research communicator, that just stands out to you as a particular highlight?
Ooh, that is a difficult question. There are so many examples of research and just so many people doing incredible research.
Sure.
But I think the one that honestly stands out to me is this year's D. Winthorne winner, Ronald Sims, the person who's actually giving the lecture at the D. Winthorne lecture. He started the biological engineering department, if I'm not mistaken, here at Utah State. And just, I don't want to give his whole story because he's going to give the lecture.
Don't spoil it, right?
I'm going to spoil it. This is his story is incredible, but come and listen on Thursday, and it is an incredible story to hear him just tell about his experience starting the whole department and bringing it all together. And
that is very cool. That is amazing stuff. The D. Winthorne lecture, as Daniel said again, is on Thursday, but Research Week goes throughout the week, starting Monday, April 11th, until Friday, April 15th. USU strutting a bit when it comes to the research. The Office of Research inviting the public, faculty, students, and more to attend various events throughout the week. Research Week 2020 kicks off Monday. Our guest, again, has been a program coordinator and research communicator with the Office of Research at Utah State University, Daniel Lenhart. And Daniel, appreciate taking some time for KVNU today. Can't wait to get up there next week.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you. And for our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Please stay tuned. More of For the People, and a look at, or an update rather, coming up on the Ukrainian refugees making their way slowly to Utah. What's this going to mean, and how many are we talking about, and what organizations are asking you to jump in now to help out these families who have had to exit their own country after the Russia invasion? That's coming up in a few minutes here on For the People.
Old Chicago Pizza is getting a new name. No need to worry. All the same delicious dishes you love will now be served at the new Ruby's Pizzeria and Grill, along with some tasty new items including fresh grilled chicken dishes, new mac and cheese flavors, and juicy flame grilled steaks on the weekend menu. Old Chicago will close Monday, April 4th and reopen on Thursday, April 7th with a new name, Ruby's Pizzeria and Grill. Same great pizzas, sandwiches, burgers, appetizers, beer, and more. Ruby's Pizzeria and Grill, 795 East, 1400 North in Logan.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. It paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school. That education got me to the first day at my dream job, which I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job and the home loan benefits I got from the Army National Guard helped me buy my first house. I also know that I will be one of the first to respond if my community ever needs me.
Sponsored by the Utah Army National Guard. Aired by the Utah Broadcasters Association and this station.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Another listener-suggested topic. 2 for 1 show today. I love that. If you've got suggestions ever, a topic you'd like to hear more about, an expert guest you'd like us to schedule, please shoot your ideas in. kvnuftp@gmail.com. This one wasn't really a request for an expert guest. It was a listener that said, there are so many rumors going around right now as we see a lot of changes in Logan. Things coming down like the Emporium and the old library building. Things going up like the In-N-Out building and some other stuff on the 14th North Block. Listener said, what all is coming to Logan? There have been rumors for years of a brew pub looking to locate into downtown. I really hope for that because I'm a big fan of brew pub style food. And plus, I think that would fit nicely with the ambience of downtown. But nothing on that front for sure. That remains a rumor. But to help this listener out, we do have some confirmed announcements. In fact, this was reported back in late March by Eric Franson at CashValleyDaily.com. We did some digging to answer these questions ourselves. So we've had some new things come in over the last couple of years. Dutch Brothers opening recently. Cup Bop is here in Cache Valley now. That's, I know, popular with a lot of people. Shivers, frozen yogurt, that is at roughly the Main Street Suite at 10th North. Barrel and Stave, which is a cocktail bar there now at 33 Federal Avenue. We also have local joints like the Cash Bar that opened over the last couple of years, being pretty successful in that location from what I hear. But restaurant-wise, we've seen more departures than new ones come in until the last year or so. So here's the list. And again, you can see this full list with more detail on each location and what each restaurant serves at CashValleyDaily.com. But here's a quick rundown of what's coming to Cache Valley or recently opened. So opening March 21st was something called the Coconut Island Grill. Its newest location is at 470 South Main, Suite 110. The first Coconut Island Grill opened here in Utah in Bountiful in 2016, and they've had a good run of it. In and Out, of course, you know about that one on the 4th North block there. That building going up pretty quickly. In fact, looks close to done to me, but we'll see. They have a tentative, I believe, May opening date set, but I've heard rumors that's going to be pushed back a bit due to some problems, the unforeseen problems in the parking lot that will need to be taken care of. So the Habit Burger Grill. Habit Burger Grill is expected to open very soon. Spring was what they said. This is another California-based restaurant like In and Out. It's under construction currently at 1355 North Main in Logan between the 7-Eleven and the Chick-fil-A. And they're known for charburgers, salads, and some pretty fancy shakes. Chipotle Mexican Grill. It's expected to open a year from now, but it is official. They are coming to Logan. There's 3 new restaurants actually currently under construction at that Logan Business Gateway development, which is 701 South Main Street, the new South Main area there. And one of them officially for sure is a Chipotle Mexican Grill, but it won't open until, I'm sorry, I said next summer, this summer. It's not a year away. It's this summer, but a few months away. Tropical Smoothie Cafe is expected to open sometime this summer as well here in Logan. A Pizza. This one's been, it's gotten a lot of buzz because it's a pretty big mystery what this is, but it's a new restaurant. It's currently being built here in Logan, and it's a national chain. And it's not a national chain, but they want to be. The first location was actually in San Francisco in 2019, and their motto is they wanted to make pizza in the style of In-N-Out Burger. I don't know what that means. The pandemic threw them off a bit in their growth plans, but they're catching up quick and moving second location in here in Logan sometime this summer. No official date set on that. Cafe Zupa's, new Cafe Zupa's coming to Logan, currently under construction at the 700 North Main, the old location of the A&W building there. Sad to see that go, but something new going in its place. They are a chain. The closest one is in Ogden, and that's expected to open here in a few weeks, as I understand it. Zeppe's, this is the Logan Community Development Office said Zeppe's will be returning to Logan. They were here for a while. They left, and their drive-through location is currently being proposed at 811 North Main with a bit of indoor and outdoor rooftop dining options. So the Zeppe's frozen custard location used to be near that Little Caesars Pizza in Providence. They first opened in Harrisville, Utah, way back in 2007, their first store. They were there at that location in Providence for a while. They left. It looks like they might be coming back. And one I'm really excited about, my first experience with this was in downtown Salt Lake, right in downtown. But they do also have locations in Provo, and I believe a new one was planned to go up somewhere along the Wasatch Front. J-Dog's Gourmet Hot Dog Restaurant coming to Logan. They made the announcement on their Facebook page several weeks ago that they'd officially signed a lease on a Logan location. The exact location, still a mystery, but they currently have 6 locations, throughout Salt Lake and Provo, and so this will be their first in northern Utah. If you've been to the Vivint Arena, you've also run into J-Dogs there. Good stuff. So no official location or opening date set on that one, but J-Dogs made it official a few weeks ago on their Facebook page that J-Dog's Gourmet Hot Dog Restaurant is coming to Logan. So that's the list so far. Expect this to grow as Logan grows, but appreciate a listener asking. If you'd like more detail, including descriptions of the menus and more, great story at CacheValleyDaily.com by Eric Franson. Several new restaurants and food options coming to Logan. I've linked to that on our Facebook page, and we'll be back after the news with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason, for making me hungry with that last piece there. It's 5:31, and KVNU News is brought to you by Whole Tree Care. At their next meeting, the League of Women Voters of Cache Valley will host Dr. Frank Howe, professor of wildland resources at Utah State University. His presentation is scheduled for this evening at 6 in just about a half hour from now, and will focus on the critically important and ongoing efforts to restore the Logan River. This conversation will also address how the proposed watershed plan could impact it. Kendra Penry from the League's Cache Valley chapter was a guest on KVNU's For the People program on Tuesday and said the meeting will cover a lot of ground.
It will, and I think it will probably cover far more than the allotted time that we have given it, because it is such a big topic, but it is one that impacts every single one of us, whether we're visiting or living in Cache Valley. So it's a conversation that needs to be had. Even if we can only give it an hour, if it at least starts the conversation, we can continue it on in the future with possibly another meeting if needed.
She said the river restoration has been going on for quite a few years now because it is such a huge endeavor. Dr. Howe wants to make sure it's done correctly and impacts as few areas negatively as possible, and also is a resource that everyone can enjoy.
Yeah, it's definitely taking a while, and it will continue to take a while to be sure that it's done well. But at the same time, we realize that with it being ongoing, it's generating questions constantly. Those people that were here at the beginning, we have a whole new community of people here now, and so they're going to have additional questions as well, and they need to be just as informed as those back when the process started.
The meeting will be held in the basement of the First Presbyterian Church of Logan and also is available on Zoom. You can check the League of Women Voters Cache Valley Facebook page for the Zoom link, and again, that meeting starts here at 6 o'clock. The Utah Farm Bureau Federation announced Monday Cache Valley native Spencer Gibbons will lead the organization as the chief executive officer. Gibbons, who currently resides in Richmond, will oversee the organization's staff and will be responsible for providing administrative leadership and coordination among Utah Farm Bureau's affiliated companies, with an emphasis on executing the Federation's policy. As the CEO, Gibbons will lead the largest general farm and ranch organization in the state with more than 32,000 member families. And a wind energy company has been sentenced to probation and ordered to pay more than $8 million in fines and restitution after killing at least 150 eagles over the past decade at wind farms across the U.S. Next Era Energy subsidiary ESI Energy pleaded guilty to 3 counts of violating the Migratory Bird Treaty Act during a Tuesday court appearance in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Prosecutors say the company was warned its wind farms would kill birds, but proceeded anyway, without getting a required permit. KBNU News Time is 5:34.
Men, sometimes women drop subtle hints like,
"Hey, honey, the weather sure is nice today."
"Yeah, I think I'll go golfing with the fellas."
Ugh, whatever.
Sometimes we just need more direct language like,
"Honey, call Whole Tree Care to trim and clean up all those gnarly shrubs and dead, twisted branches. I want to enjoy the yard this summer, not dread it."
You know, I was thinking the same thing. Call Hull Tree Care, 760-6587. Ask about their radio discount. They also do tree and stump removal. 760-6587.
KBNU weather for tonight, mostly clear, low in the mid-20s, sunny, warmer tomorrow, upper 50s, and then warmer still Friday, upper 60s for the high, before a bit of a cool down for the weekend. Partly cloudy on Saturday, high temperature only in the lower 50s, and then mostly cloudy Sunday into early next week, and the high temperature in the lower 40s. And we've been to looks like 50 degrees right now. It's for a new high for today, and right now it's 50 here at KBNU. KBNU weather brought to you by Logan Extermination. Bugs and all their creepy friends want to come inside. Call Logan Extermination to come spray your foundation and keep them out for only $55 per month. Call 752-8450. Logan Extermination. For more details on these and other stories, visit CashValleyDaily.com.
Hi, it's Congressman Blake Moore here. As you know, the prices of gas, groceries, utilities, and housing are surging. Inflation has been increasing due to President Biden's policies, and it's a painful tax on all Utah families. I'm working hard to reverse these policies that are driving inflation and bring fiscal responsibility back to Washington. With inflation rising faster than paychecks, it's clear we need to balance our nation's checkbook. I've started a debt and deficit task force with stakeholders across Utah's 1st District to address America's most pressing financial problems. Please visit my website, www.blakemore.house.gov, to learn more about our productive solutions that will keep more money in your pockets. Paid for by official funds authorized by the U.S. House of Representatives.
Adams Wealth Advisors is the gold winner for financial planning in the Best of Northern Utah competition. Thank you for your vote. Putting clients first under any circumstance will bring peace of mind when working with Adams Wealth Advisors.
This is Craig Adams. At Adams Wealth Advisors, we are here to help you receive peace of mind whether you've done a lot of planning or a little planning. Count on our team at Adams Wealth Advisors for honesty, professionalism, and integrity.
Visit AdamsWealthAdvisors.com or call 752-1702 to schedule a time with an advisor today. Please see AdamsWealthAdvisors.com for more information on these recent awards.
This month we have an extraordinary opportunity to celebrate the grandeur and beauty of our planet Earth. From April 20th to the 23rd, Valley Recycling in Logan will host its annual Earth Day celebration. Bring in and recycle your scrap metal items to receive the highest prices of the year. Never in the Earth's history has recycling been more critical and impactful. Visit valleymetalrecycling.com for pricing and other information.
This is Police Chief Gary Jensen from Logan City Police Department. A number of scams are occurring throughout our city and county. These scams are highly emotional and demand immediacy that you pay, and you pay now. They will say they are from the IRS, the Sheriff's Office, the Police Department, utility companies, medical facilities, or even romance scams. The scammers do their homework. They can do a simple check on the internet of your name and find out where you live, where you used to live, even people that are associated with your name. They are always highly emotional phone calls that demand immediate payment or something bad will happen. Slow down and diffuse by asking questions. If they want you to pay with Bitcoin or gift cards, this is a scam. Be careful. Hang up the phone call is the best thing that you can do. Again, slow down and think. React by hanging up and don't become a victim.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Last night here on KVNU, we were able to broadcast the direct link with Governor Cox. This is a semi-regular event, happens 3 or 4 times a year throughout the state with a focus on rural issues, similar to the ongoing Speak to the Governor that has happened for years through multiple governors. But with that event being so centered in Salt Lake City and around Salt Lake City media, the questions tended to leave the rest of the state just out of the loop. So Governor Cox, after elected, wanted to start this event working with broadcasters throughout the state, especially in rural areas, and we all take turns. So last night was our turn. I had an opportunity to moderate the event, and even during some of the pauses between callers, ask a few questions of my own. If you'd like to hear the entire event, it is available on our podcast service at Podcastics. Simply search for KVNU's For the People, and you can find it there. It wasn't a part of the regular show yesterday. It started at 6 p.m. as we wrapped up For the People, and then went until 7. Right up on this also at CashValleyDaily.com with some of the highlights. And speaking of highlights, I've got a few of them here from last night's event. There were great questions from the listeners and callers from all around the state. But there were a few that really stood out to me as relevant to not only current events. We started the event last night talking about the big news yesterday that it was a sequence of events, actually. Governor Cox vetoed House Bill 11, the Transgender Youth in Sports Ban bill, and vetoed that bill. An hour later, Senate President Stuart Adams put out a statement saying they were going to meet Friday for a veto override vote. And then the governor countered by calling a special session an hour after they planned to meet to have the veto override vote. The governor called a special session to basically force them to rewrite the bill, saying primarily that House Bill 11 would not only land the state in a lawsuit almost immediately, which the state would lose, but would also bankrupt, in the end, high school athletics throughout the state. The governor has called the bill the result of a poor process and a bill that he feels is not well thought out. The background on this bill, again, during the last day of the session, the last few hours, in fact, this bill that would have created a commission, which also made a lot of people uncomfortable for reasons I explained yesterday. I share their discomfort. Would have created a commission that literally would have been measuring children. We're talking children here, middle school and high school kids, would have been measuring their wingspan, their pitch speed, their height. A commission of, quote, experts that would literally be doing this to determine whether a transgender child had a physical advantage over other students that would be playing on the same team. Who wants to be on that commission, right? It's borderline creepy. So the governor shared that opinion, although he chose his words better than I do, and said he would not be signing the bill. Yesterday, he made good on that, and then again, the sequence of events played it out. That's where we started things out, and after that, we moved into callers' questions, and we covered everything from the drought and water issues to challenges when it comes to growth in the state, especially in rural areas, broadband access and things like that. And there was a great question from a caller about gas prices. The question simply was, with gas prices high and with the war going on in Ukraine after Russia's invasion looking to be a prolonged thing at this point, Obviously, Utah or even the United States can't pull many strings and get those prices down as long as that war continues. But there are some things that states could do, specifically here in Utah. They could eliminate the pretty sizable gas tax to drop prices down about 25%. But the governor said it's not really that simple.
We, like several states, have been looking at the possibility of eliminating or reducing the gas tax that people pay at the pump, about 30 cents per gallon, somewhere in there. The difference between Utah and other states is the way we fund things. I mentioned earlier in these conversations, an earlier question, that our income tax goes towards education, and because we have these specific buckets of where we can spend money, it makes it a little more complicated. In fact, it makes it a lot more complicated for Utah to do something like that. Normally, a governor could just declare an emergency and say we're eliminating the gas tax, and I can use other funds to pay for the things that we need to pay for there. I don't have that option as a governor here in the state of Utah. In fact, the gas tax goes directly to fund UDOT employees, and so if I were to eliminate the gas tax, I would also have to lay off UDOT employees, and those employees are really important for, hopefully we'll get some more snow. They push snow, they fill potholes, they make sure that our roads are operational, all of the things that we need. And so I can't just take some surplus from somewhere else. So this would take an act of the legislature, and we've had that conversation. We are going to be meeting over the next week with everyone who's involved in the process here in the state of Utah, in the petroleum process, from those who extract petroleum from the ground, those who transport it, those who refine it, and the gas stations where it's delivered, to see what we can do to lower that price at any or every level of that process.
As I mentioned during the hour-long program last night, 6 to 7 p.m. here on KVNU, Direct Link with Governor Spencer Cox, there were a couple of lulls in the phone calls where we had a space, and I was able to get in a question that not only has been on my mind, but has come directly from not only listeners here of KVNU's For the People each day, but also some of our own guests on the show have raised this issue. And the question I asked was, of the governor as a statewide representative, as the governor of the state. Remember, when it comes to public policy, specifically regarding growth and water planning, every lawmaker is representing a district throughout the state, whether that's state senate or state house. But the governor represents the state as a whole. So I asked the governor about this unplanned event that happened on a show a few weeks ago during the legislative session. Everyone excited about this bill that at the time hadn't passed but ended up passing, and the governor did sign it, appropriating $40 million into a fund that, it's kind of vague right now, but this fund is going to be directed at, as Speaker of the House Brad Wilson said, a first step, not the total amount this is going to take, but the first step in rescuing the Great Salt Lake. And that's good. As I said last night, who wouldn't be behind that, considering the role that the lake plays in our economy, but also our ecology and our snowpack, everything. So no one should be opposed to rescuing the Great Salt Lake. But we did have a chance that same day when we were talking about that bill in Hour 1. In Hour 2, we were joined by Nathan Dougs of the Cache Water District. And he said, we're watching that one very closely because if oversight is lacking or if the planning becomes a little too Wasatch Front centric, you could see that $40 million fund become harmful to places like Cache Valley, money used to buy water rights that would then reduce the amount of water available for agriculture here in northern Utah. So depending on how the money's used, it could be a good thing or a bad thing, Dougs said. Paraphrasing, those weren't his exact words, of course. So I asked the governor about that. I said, how do you thread that needle?
We always say in Sanpete that whiskey's for drinking and water's for fighting, and I think that's certainly the case. When you have a limited resource, a resource that is so precious, there will always be competing interests. And it's something that we want to work with all stakeholders on. I do believe that there are opportunities for all of us to work together to do better, and that's why I'm so excited for what happened this legislative session. It really, I think, got people's attention. This past year, the drought that we have been in and are still in. I will note that some of the research that came out of I believe it was UCLA recently that noted going back and looking at historical data in tree rings and you know the way that they're able to look at the growth of those trees in different states and specifically in the West, that this is the worst 20-year drought we've had since the year 800. So the worst drought in 1,200 years. So not only are we dealing with a global pandemic, but the worst drought in over 1,000 years. And that means we have to, we all have a part to play in this. I'm a farmer. You know, nobody cares more about water for agriculture than me. We've been fighting this my whole life. We're still working on a reservoir that was promised us 90 years ago. My grandfather was working on it, and we're still fighting with our dear, lovely friends in Carbon County about getting that water to our side of the mountain. So I understand that, but what we are doing here is prioritizing. By the way, we're not taking anybody's water rights away. That $40 million will go to be able to acquire water rights in the market. We're not using the heavy hand of government anywhere to do that. But we also passed more water conservation legislation than the rest of our history combined. It was an incredible session, and people are getting serious about that, and the ag community is getting serious about it. We also passed millions and millions of dollars. I don't remember the exact number, but a significant amount of money that will be used for optimization in agriculture, because still about 80% of our water is used in agriculture, where it should be. By the way, food is just as important as water, and we need water to grow food. That's how this works. But we know that there are new technologies out there to improve and enhance yields using less water. So if we can improve outcomes and use less water, that's a win for everyone and frees up water for other things. And so I am so excited that we will be able to use that money to help our farmers to save water, which will save them money. And it really is a win all the way around. We also passed a significant amount of money for secondary water metering. And the reason that that's important is that we found that in many places in Utah, we don't meter the water that we use for our yards and outside use. And so it's hard to understand the cost of that for sure. And how that's going to work. So we funded this, and what we found is just by putting a meter on, people decrease their use by 20 to 30%. Even if you're not charging anymore, nothing else changes. Just by having that meter in place, we just get more thoughtful. We don't leave the hose on as much, knowing that we're measuring how much water is being used. And so we think that that's going to make a significant difference as well.
That was, again, a highlight from last night's Direct Link with Governor Spencer Cox event. If you'd like to hear the whole thing, again, it's linked as part of our podcast at the Podcastics service. Simply search for KVN News for the People, and you can subscribe there. Not only get that episode, but never miss an episode if you happen to be busy in the afternoons. This event took place statewide, and most of the questions did come in from all around the state, but that was a question I was able to sneak in during one of the slower periods between calls. It was a great event, and it's great the governor does these as well to keep things less centered around the most populous area of the state and more focused on rural issues. So give it a listen. Just some highlights there from the event, and the next event is scheduled for, I believe, sometime in May. We'll keep you posted of that as that event happens. If you'd like to read more about, reference there by the governor towards the end of his comments, that study into secondary water metering that the legislature based this decision on a few weeks ago to expand the program statewide over the next 8 years. That was done out of the Weber Basin Water District. We had a chance to speak with them here on the show, and that is also in our podcast directory there, an interview with a representative of the Weber Basin District. They've been running this pilot program for about 12 years, and what they found is that simply by sending water users a statement each month, no additional cost or rate fee increases or anything like that, no bill, but they'd get a statement each month just basically saying, here's how much water you used. They found that water use, just by doing that, decreased about 30%. That's what the governor was talking about there at the end. So check it out. Again, the full direct link event is available on our podcast link, a write-up with highlights from the event, additional highlights at cachevalleydaily.com as well. And we'll be back with more of KVNU's For the People right after this.
The temperature's warmer, and here at Alpine Home Medical, we couldn't be happier to serve you as we mark our 25th anniversary this spring. Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent, and I want to thank you for being the best customers over the last 25 years. We couldn't have done it without you. If you've shopped with us before, thank you. If not, we want to make sure that we're your one-stop shop for all your home medical needs. You'll find the most selection and best quality products. Check out our power scooters for better freedom to help you move around and get you where you need to go easier. With compression socks, CPAP supplies, and incontinence products, our resupply team ships discreetly to your home, where you need it, when you need it. You get it all in unmarked boxes to protect your privacy. Alpine Home Medical has 10 locations across Utah and southern Idaho to serve you. Visit us online at alpinehomemedical.com. That's alpinehomemedical.com.
My name is Dr. Brandon Prevey, and I love being a dentist. I work with Drs. Curtis Taylor, Anthony Larson, and Paul Harris. When people ask where our office is, I actually have two answers. First, I spend part of the week at Logan Dental Associates, and then second, I spend the other part at Cherry Creek Dental in Richmond. Both locations are a full-service dental office and can take care of everyone in the family. Call or go online and make your appointment with the offices most convenient for you. Logan Dental Associates in Logan or Cherry Creek Dental in Richmond.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse?
Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph, when blam! Ran right into the side of the saloon.
Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
When I went looking for a place to rent, I wore a mask, but they could still see I'm black. The landlord told me
nothing available.
When I went looking for an apartment, I wore a mask. Obviously, I'm Latino. They said
the place has been rented.
My wife and I were house hunting.
We wore masks, but we're Asian American. And the real estate agent said,
you won't be happy here.
If you suspect housing discrimination because of your race, file a complaint with HUD. Go to HUD.gov/fair housing. Fair housing. The law is on your side. A public service message from HUD in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Hey, it's me, the regular dad. I ask guys like you a few questions, a kind of parenting test. So here goes. What is this sound? Yeah, that's a tough one, isn't it? That's the sound a young teenager makes when he's done something he regrets. Maybe he got caught up in peer pressure, tried a few drinks at a party, and the next morning, well, he makes this sound. Kind of a sad sound, isn't it? Hear the embarrassment, the reluctance, the pulling away? If you recognized it, then you know exactly what to do. Listen. It might take a long time. A drive together, or a walk that turns into a talk, and that turns into an arm around his shoulder that means you understand. That's when you can really talk, when he knows you understand. Then the both of you can figure out how not to make the same mistake again. I know, it's tough. Keep at it. You're doing great.
This message brought to you by The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Every 36 seconds, a vehicle is stolen in the United States. You have the power to protect your car. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows completely, and always lock your doors and take your keys or fob. If you know something about a vehicle theft, call us at 1-800-TEL-NICB.
That's our time for today. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Tomorrow on the show, Charlie Schell joins us. Theater reviews and a preview with the spring and early summer arts and entertainment season kicking off here in Cache Valley as we speak, actually. Dr. Cheryl Goody, director of the Family Place, joins us to update us on their ongoing year-long celebration, their 40th anniversary, providing services to children and families throughout all of northern Utah. Dr. Goody joins us on the show tomorrow with an update. And France. We're going to be talking about France a little bit. Some tumultuous election events in France with some, believe it or not, Utah ties. How a couple of Utah lawmakers are, well, getting mentioned by candidates in France. Tomorrow on For the People, Dave Ramsey is next.
Stimulating talk you want. Information and news you need. News Talk KVNU Logan, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.